Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today in this breakfast chat, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about why I'm not as dogmatic as I used to be, and a lot of it comes down to my business can't afford for me to be. So let me take a bite of this food and we'll discuss it. Now, one of the things that's come up, actually one of several people have noted, hey, you're doing a few things that you said years ago probably aren't the best of ideas, you didn't support, you didn't like. And that's true, and I've done a lot of that in the last few years. It's not just one or two things. So we need to get that out of the way up front. And a lot of it had to do with me kind of having an epiphany a while back of me running a lot of the more minimalist type training as far as exercise selection, finding it did beat me up, didn't give me fully the results I wanted, realizing that a lot of the coaches who pushed that don't seem to grasp the drawbacks to it. And I returned back to my roots on a serious level because people oftentimes forgot that I started with conjugate. In 2012, when I first started doing YouTube, I was doing conjugate training. You guys remember I've been seen at expos and stuff wearing West Side shirts and stuff 7 and 8 years ago, right? It's all up there. I was training with bands and specialty bars and everything back then. And then over time, especially when I got back to the US, I kind of went through a phase of pushing minimalism, and then I realized it wasn't working for me. It was not working for me. And I realized, look, guys like Louis Simmons are right. They're right. And because I had done all the research into that before, I jumped all back into all of it, delved back into it, spent hundreds and hundreds of hours digging through everything I could find, talking to coaches who had trained or worked at Westside at one time, because I know some, picking their brains, and I jumped back into conjugate. And then I started coaching full time. Okay, I started coaching off of that as my baseline. And here's one of the things that I've realized, especially starting probably about a year ago. About 1 year ago, I started getting to 20 plus clients. I would think it was right about this time last year when I broke the 20 client mark. And since then, I have stayed between 20 and 25 clients year round. When you're coaching that many lifters year round, and you're used to dealing with unique situations, because I've had lifters who have herniated disc, I have lifters with torn labrums. These are things that I've seen their MRIs and things. Some of these people have unique problems because I'm coaching people who are all in different environments because it's all online and done through video. I'm coaching people in different environments who have different equipment, right? I have to get creative. So when I'm thinking in terms of training all the time these days, I am always in a flow state. Everything is in flow, and it's problem solution. There's a problem, we need a solution. Problem solution. And it's always finding solutions to problems all the time. I mean, again, this is what I do for a living, is solving my lifters and athletes' problems, coming up with solutions. How do we make this work in the environment they're in? Over and over and over, 7 days a week. Okay, and I've had for a year 20 plus clients where I'm doing this 7 days a week. Okay, the year before that it was less clients. But at that point it started to get serious, and I started having a very large diversity of things to deal with. So that changed my entire outlook. It changed the way that I do things on this channel. My main job, my main income stream, my main time sink as far as training stuff goes, forced me to be a problem solver and think outside the box all the time. Okay, every single day. Well, that carries over into my training, and it carries over to what I do here. It's like I said this week, I'm not doing all my deadlifting with straps. Well, not all. I'm going to do some raw pulls to test my grip. Some people would say, well, why is that? Because my grip is my weak link on my deadlifts. Now, you don't see me using straps for rows because that can train your grip. Rowing trains your grip. Deadlifting does not. And the reason is, no one is double overhand deadlifting big weights. Nobody. Right? If I was double overhand deadlifting, my back would never get any training at all. None of my posterior chain, none of that would matter. No one is strong enough to pull heavy weights double overhand. It's almost unheard of. Like literally, if you're at world level grip strength, if you can double overhand 500, well, 500-pound deadlift's not shit. It's not shit. So mixed grip itself tends to just tear your hands up with a deadlift bar when you're repping it. And it doesn't even train your grip. It can test your grip. It's not a good way to train it, especially at a certain threshold. So in this case, my grip is my limiting factor. So what am I doing? Pulling with straps so that I can get used to pulling bigger weights again. And then training my grip on a very serious level. And I've even started messing with other stuff again. I've started messing with stuff in a different way than I previously done for grip training, things like my Captains of Crush grippers. I started using those again this weekend. I'm not doing rep work because the rep work on those actually shreds my hands. It rips the skin on my fingers, rips it open, which again, not useful to my grip if my hands are bleeding. So I'm learning to just hold and squeeze them, squeezing them for time as hard as I can. So things like that. But what you guys are seeing me is do axle bar work every single training session. So again, solutions, rather than say, okay, straps are always bad, it's like, well, how do we use straps in a way that's intelligent? Use them for my deadlifting. And then specialize in grip training. It's not an excuse to have a weak grip. That's my issue that I have with a lot of people, is you see people who are using straps for everything. You got weak grip, weak forearms. Oh, you're not strong. You're not strong at all. If that's what you're doing, you have such an enormous weak link that is limiting your strength chain. In my case, when I start getting to 600 plus, my grip starts to really become a problem on deadlifting. I have to specialize in grip. But again, the solution, what do we run into? If we're going to specialize in grip training all the time, if I'm going to be doing grip work every training session, that means that I'm walking into every training session with my grip fatigued. Okay, because I'm doing grip specialization, my grip is pretty much at the most workload it can handle. It's on the edge of not recovering all the time. Therefore, if I want to do more and more grip work, I'm going to have to put myself into a situation to where my grip is fatigued 7 days a week, unless I give it a few days to recover, which I can do anytime I want to deadlift without straps, right? I can drop all the serious grip work for 3 or 4 days so that I can do a heavy pull without straps at any time. It'll give it time to recover. But in the meantime, it's got to be grip, 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 grip. And it's becoming a very, very heavy focus for me because, again, it's one of my weakest links. So again, the solution, if I'm going to train my grip, it's not the case of saying I'm going to use straps and then train my grip. It's a different mindset. It's saying I need to train my grip a lot more, but if I'm training my grip a lot more and it's already a weak link on my deadlift, every time I deadlift, my grip is going to give out. It's going to be even worse. So the solution is to use straps for the deadlift because we're grip specializing. It's not doing it the other way around. It's again a solution, because part of the solution, we need grip work. We need tons of grip work. I need to grip specialize. It's my limiting factor on deadlifts by far. So we say, okay, there's a problem, here's a solution. That solution creates another problem, that my hands and grip are fatigued every time I get to a deadlift from the day before, the day before that. So then just strap up. Now, and I'm not saying I'm going to count the deadlifts, so that's the difference too. You know, if I do a block pull with straps, I don't count that as a deadlift. I'll put it up on the channel, but it's not me saying, oh, look at what my deadlift is, because no, it doesn't count. I don't plan on doing strongman, right? But the point is, it's not about being dogmatic. I want to give people guidelines. They are guidelines. They're general rules that probably apply to the majority of you out there. Okay, and in this case, people who are using straps all the time are creating a weak link, right? In my case, I'm using straps as a tool because I'm specializing in fixing grip. So when we're looking at different tools, that's the whole point. Everything has got to be, is it makes sense with what we're doing for the total picture? Are we doing something just to be silly or lazy? Or is it an intelligent solution to a training problem that we have? And if we're trying to find intelligent solutions, if we're trying to come up with fixes for everything in the totality of a larger training system, we cannot afford to be dogmatic. We can never have rules that we say, I will never break this rule. We have guidelines. We have guidelines that are generally useful, generally a good idea, in which case there will be exceptions to them. And that's how we have to approach training. If we want to be really, really, really good at this, we have to approach training in that manner. And a good coach has to be able to do that with his athletes, and they have to be able to do that with themselves. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.